Biggs, Wedge, Biggs again, Cloud, and Biggs, Wedge. Okay, hello, I am RetroRyoHazuki81, and what I am presenting to people online today, and whoever's viewing my content, is an opinionated perspective from me, RetroRyoHazuki81, like a more personal opinion, like kind of in relation to the disclaimer. Maybe I can kind of make a clearer understanding like that to everyone. Okay, how will I explain this to everybody without people thinking I'm nuts? I don't want people to think I'm, crazy, but this is just what I have to kind of lay out, and Tipton, whoever that guy is, what's his name? Maybe he can lay me out if I'm from Waking at Bernie's. Well, here it goes. Okay. And just to say, for manners of speaking, like to be, respectful to people, especially their identities. I'm just quoting this because, for legal purposes, for me to obtain what is, to me, is supposedly and initially was mine to claim a long time ago, but I don't really want to make, how to say it, I don't want to impose guilt on any parties that, from a legal standpoint, any parties at hand, any sources, any ends on their end or my end. I don't want to make people feel guilty or hate me, but at the same exact time, I have to acknowledge this, that I don't really agree with like with a disclaimer in some video games. I mean, how to say it, the only way I do agree is in this perspective right here. I don't want to say these are people, but I do kind of understand the how people walk around they're like diverting the obvious to me. And it's only the obvious to certain people. If you know certain people, like in your history, maybe people will see it the way I see it, because I think I'm making better sense of something to myself. If you hear about me, if you follow me on RetroRyoHazuki81, now that's what I'm trying to convey to everybody here. And there's certain terminology that I use, like convey, perspective, retrospective, opinionated, or opinions, or disclaimer, this, that, the list goes on and on and on. But for me to really excuse me, okay, so for me to paint a picture, and I'm not painting a picture literally, but I'm trying to really, clearly express this, and how to say it. I know online I sound like I'm kind of out of breath or a little imbalanced here. I might be a little imbalanced, but somewhat imbalanced in my life. My life's not balanced. I don't have a good, healthy lifestyle. I want everybody to understand that. The reason I don't have a good, healthy lifestyle is because I did something extraordinary, inspirational, and immaculate and impressive to the whole planet. And even if aliens would see this on a TV screen, like you could call it a monitor, this is what happened. And I explain it. What did I do? I already said it. In the fight choreography, I'm all those things for Shenmue and this and that, but this is what I'm trying to correlate here. Correlation may have been a word I didn't say. Okay, all right. This is why I have some problems, is because there's maybe some other parties in my history, and this one guy that was my, karate teacher, I won't say names, but he moved away to another state. To the best of my knowledge, he's involved with the legal authorities, and he has a high status in some legal authoritative, aspects. But I don't know how powerful he is, but I do know that he remembers me as RetroRyoHazuki. And as much as he doesn't want to admit it, he does know that, because he gave me an undocumented martial arts degree. Now, it's a martial arts degree in my personal opinion because it's undocumented. Because the moves I do for the Shenmue fight choreography are from Muay Thai, they're from Kyokushin Karate, they're from Taekwondo, and then, for what they made RetroRyoHazuki to be, I would say obviously they're like a lot of martial arts: judo, jujitsu, ninjutsu, list goes on and on, taijutsu. There's a lot of different ways to express what karate and what the jujitsu system is for Shenmue. Because what this actually is a jujitsu system that RetroRyoHazuki has. And you can see the wall looks more like it's not a red belt, but a red belt is a high rank in jujitsu. But what it was to be was, it looks to me like that belt is not even black. It looks like it's gray. I think there was supposed to be a belt for me in Japan somehow, but things, or how to say it, parts of my history got misinterpreted, switched around, moved around. Very much like that certification or degree that I had. It may be in my house for all I know, but I don't know that. And I don't know, and what I don't even know, if there's a degree or that certificate in somebody else's home, or it could be in another state, another country. For all I know, my federation has the records of that, and they're just not saying that they have it, because they're wanting to call me they don't want to call me that, to this, okay, like the note of Domino's Pizza, notice of intention to deny. But I don't want to just say that. Okay, so at 8 minutes, 15 seconds here, okay, here's what I'm trying to say. Who's Biggs here? Biggs is the guy that, he's not the bigger guy. Did you know that? You notice there's one guy here and he looks like he's a bigger man than the other guy on the left? And now they're claiming, if you see, this is, okay, so they're claiming the guy on the left, his name's Biggs. And the guy on the right, his name's Wedge. But to me, what this actually means is, these are actually, to me, like two people, two karate students I used to train with long ago. And I don't want to state the obvious, but I might have to in some, terms or references here. You see, I know there's a disclaimer for video games or whatever it is, but how do they come up with these ideas? How do they have video games? How do they do these things? An idea becomes a patent, perhaps, or something else, but I believe that an idea has to become a patent, and then it becomes sold as a patent, marketed. They get copyrights for certain patents, and maybe what happens is that the copyrights become trademarks, or maybe somebody that contributes something before the patent is created and sold, then it has to be like the trademark, and then like to represent something. Now what I'm representing is the Shenmue fight choreography, and in fact all the ideas that I've shared with my teacher and that we share together somewhat is not only what sold Shenmue to Japan to me, but I don't know how to explain it, because I believe that it's my fight choreography that was the most impressive thing that sold all this. And I don't want to just say that, but here's the reason I'm trying to get into this. If you look at this from an automotive perspective, you notice that in America, okay, America, my family comes from a Ford Motor Company family. Let me state the obvious and the truth. That my family is American, going back to my grandfather, who's a Salazar too. He worked for Ford Motor Company, and all my relatives worked for Ford for many years, starting out with welding, and then more people went into engineering and some kind of, other works in the, the Rouge plant at Ford Motor Company. My family has a very long seniority history of working at Ford Motor Company. My family, I believe, has power from that. But now that I said that, that's what I'm using to represent who I am, who I represent, my significance in life. That's part of my significance in life. My family, what I am, who am I? That's part of who I am. Now, the other part that was supposed to be who I am is this. You see this guy on the left? If you look at him, he's got some muscles there. He's got some tone in his muscles. He's got some definition. He's got some body. You never notice this from the guy wearing the blue Galabadian. Is that what it is? The blue Galabadian soldier with he's just holding a sword, basically, like a katana. But that's, to me, it looks like a gun blade. That's probably fictional, and a lot of things are fictional. But it's just, this game, there's a lot of fictional, and then there's some, to me, there's like non-fictional correlations to anything in life. But how to explain it? Okay, that guy that says that they're claiming who's Biggs. Okay, you notice how he looks like he's RyoHazuki, and he looks like he's, Akira. Doesn't that guy look like Akira to you, everyone? You think? And he looks like RyoHazuki. And he looks like he's a big guy. Imagine that. He looks like he could be from the year 1995. Or before that. I don't know. He must have hit puberty so hard, that guy, Biggs. Now, you see this guy on the right, he looks to me like he's somebody that I used to know in my history. And this person that I kind of knew, I was associated with a relative of his. And he's mechanically inclined. But I never really got to know him at a stronger personal level. But these two characters here are representing what I do claim in my, testimonial videos. This is like, how like they have the law system, the legal system, and they have a court hearing or whatever, and then they give, like, maybe somebody gives a testimony. Well, here it is, part of it. And that's what's really going on throughout my YouTube channel. Now, Wedge, to me, is representing, like, this is the real way to look at Biggs and Wedge. Wedge, to me, is covering up for someone, and I don't want to state the obvious, but I'm going to have to state some obvious truths and not really say names much. If I don't have to, not say names at all. Okay. All right. Okay, so Wedge, to me, is this guy, and I don't want to say his name, but there were two kids that trained with me in 1995, and they came in a class, but this guy, to me, is someone, and he's someone in Detroit. He's someone in Michigan. Me, okay, this is what I'm trying to convey here. He's covering up for his sister. I have to say it. Unless she's a transgender. I've heard from somewhere that maybe she could be a man and a woman now. I don't know. I don't know, but that might be true. That might be untrue. Maybe she's a man. I don't know. Maybe that's a rumor that she's a man too. She He-Man? Am I Skeletor? I'm alive. I'm like the undead Noid, but if I'm Shenmue, I don't think I'm Skeletor. And I don't think there's anything wrong with my bones. But this is what I'm trying to say. This is all about rumored BS too, this part of representing this video, but I've got to get my reputation back somehow in Michigan because I'm trying to avail myself and make it in the film industry as well. Now, these two characters, to me, you're going to have somebody else come along with this that's protecting these two. And I don't want this officer of the law to be in danger, but he reminds me of a fighter too, and you could consider him like a detective called Sherlock Holmes. I won't state the obvious, but you can kind of go figure here. And so he could also be considered like, parting ways one time, and I might see him again. I don't know what to say. Look at his hairdo. Okay? Now you've got the guy on the right. He's got a bandana. It's red. And then you got the guy on the left. He's got a bandana wrapped around his head like he looks like Akira. But the game industry is not just going to say these things. They're not going to state what could be obvious to some people or a lot of people because it's a cover up to, in my opinion. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is just put out assumptions and some obvious, truths that could be correlating to real factual, hypothetical. Okay. So they're not truths yet until they're facts, and they're not facts until they're the hypothesis or the hypothetical. How to say it? My hypothetical translations could be converted into factual truth in an essential, manner to say this. What I'm saying, what I say here could be going, this is what I'm saying, and I don't really know, but I don't think nobody wants to talk about these things but me. And the reason I'm saying this, my claims are unofficial until Sega makes them official. Okay? Now, okay, I don't know how you find out for sure, or maybe it's just me going on assumption still or something, but there's people that I knew in my history, and maybe they would do all they can to deny that they have anything to do with, collecting something like in reference, from the government or something. I don't know where they get it from, or from another party or whatever. Keep it in your garage like toys. I don't know. But I don't know what to say, but I'm just saying the obvious here somewhat because I have to, because nobody calls me, nobody's teachers, I don't really want to say nothing if they're going to be rude, but this is part of my claims here for Shenmue too, is that, okay, all right, so it's funny because it takes something out of me somewhat to say this, but then it comes back to me. But I have to try to avail this. Now, I know I'm kind of rambling out here, and I'm kind of jumping around, but you have to do that when you're trying to not say names. You're trying to not say, people that, I'm just saying, okay, stating that. Okay, to me, there were two kids. And my nationality might be American, might be Hispanic American, it might be anything. It might be Native American. They might be Native American. They might be from a country that has an eagle on the flag too, like Mexico. But it's just stating this. To me, these two characters, this is what I want to, get the cap off again, review it, and like a nerd's candy, might as well cry. I'm not crying, but I'm not crying about it, but it's just the fact that, I'm a baby. Well, the baby boomers, what am I? Am I like a baby boomer now? Can't make one? I see, this is like, there's a lot of things that come to my mind when I try to express this correctly, but this is what I'm trying to translate here. Okay. That guy on the right, to me, I guess I stated it, but I'm not going to say his name, but what did I say? Let me try to get into the events of in retrospective to conclude this. So in conclusion, going back in retrospective events, this is my concluding statement. Okay, Wedge is all the things I said Wedge is, and he's the guy on the right. And then Biggs is the guy on the left. But this is, to me, what this is like to me. It's like, I don't know, but it's kind of funny to me that they have these two characters in Final Fantasy. But what I'm trying to, and it's hard to really express this correctly without saying the wrong thing, but okay, these two characters to me are like two students that came into my karate class long ago, and they remind me so much of these two. But they remind me, like when you take the word wedge, and I don't like to say this about a lady, I like to say this about even someone who tells me they're a man, or I hear from rumors they're a man, because they're maybe they're just trying to be protected. I don't know what it is. But if what I know is truth, and I did have an undocumented degree, that teacher, I don't want to bother him for nothing, but I do expect that degree to be in my possession and respected in my history for what it is, for what I earned, for all that I claim that I am, because what I claim I am is actually what my teacher claimed that I am. Now, I'm not trying to get on a residency in Japan here talking about that much, or, a garage full of toys, that I don't want to just say that, but what I'm trying to say is this. It matters to me. It's not that it doesn't matter. It matters because an undocumented degree is what I am. If I'm undocumented, why did I train my martial arts? Why did you give me that? And then you want to take it all back? It doesn't make sense, because this is why I need my money. And if Biggs and Wedge had my money, which there's no such person as Biggs, because if I'm supposed to be friends with Wedge, that I don't even know Wedge, and Wedge barely knows me, but Wedge has all the money. Wedge has all the power. Wedge's family, like Baki Hamama or whatever, I don't know what to think of it. All these new, characters in video games, Baki Hama, and this and that, go figure. They're trying to get rid of Wedge, or actually trying to get rid of Biggs, because he might not be a big guy now, because Wedge's party took all the copyrights and all the royalty money and all the trademark, whatever they got, whatever Wedge's party got, I never received, and they took it right out of my room, or they took it from me, and they collaborated somehow. Wedge is not dumb by all means. Wedge is extremely intelligent, because Wedge represents like a family, a lot of people. Think of Baki Hama. I don't know where that Baki Hama comes from. I'm kind of curious myself personally how we got started all liking this movie called Ong Bak. And you know what? I had this talent that inspired a Shimu fight choreography. I do Muay Thai naturally in that class. All I did was watch Kickboxer 1 and 2. So there, to me, the game industry has copied off of Biggs. You know, Ryozuki was a big guy at age 14. Notice he's wearing a deep green shirt. I don't just tell you these things. To me, that's Akira Ryozuki on the left, and Wedge is Bakihama. Perhaps, maybe somewhat. Maybe there's some more correlation to these movies that came out over years without me knowing that I lost my royalty money, all my respect. But this is the whole problem. If I dated somebody, and I don't want to say it, maybe I dated a man, He-Man or Mirai. I don't know where this all goes. I'm talking about Ninja Gaiden, Mirai. What does Mirai mean to you? And look at the terms, look at the names in Ninja Gaiden. I might cover that sometime as well. Look at the city terms, the names, all that. Mirai reminds me of He-Man. And the face. And what does the role of Mirai play? Okay? Now, Wedge is not going to like me saying that. It's like Wedge likes all the same things that Biggs liked. The best things in life, the coolest things in life. But what I earned at the time, 28 years ago, was what Wedge's parties were trying and inspiring. They were aspiring to take all those things and give it to someone else because, let me say this too, because of what? Because of envy. But let me explain this. There are cures in the world. There's cures out there that the doctors in Western medicine doesn't talk about, and there's cures out there. There's cures in women. I've heard it said somewhere. I won't really say where, and I think it's true too. Women's thighs have cures in it. I don't know what culture claims that really, but I don't know exactly. Maybe it's like the whole world claims that, but they don't just tell you that. And then there's cures in other cultures, other countries, and they don't tell you these things. There's cures out there. Let me explain this. When you get into Hollywood, there's cures for special people, I believe. But this part of Wedge is like already established in Hollywood, already established in the game industry or something, money, finances, I don't know. Special cures are for special people. And this guy Biggs is supposed to be a special person. He looks like, to me, he's Ryozuki, and before that he was Akira. And I'm not trying to offend Wedge's parties, but it is what it is, and let it be. And this is RetroRyoHazuki81.